So I think it's about time y'all put some respect on Namine's name. Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Moosewayne1 and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts video. So in the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, we saw the return of quite a few characters that we had thought were essentially lost or gone. We saw the return of Xion in Remind when she came back as a replica and regained her heart. We saw the return of Roxas in one of the coolest entrances in the Kingdom Hearts series to date. Like my guy, there was no reason to flex this hard.
It cannot be.
We also saw the return of Terra, and the Birth by Sleep trio as well. But the person I want to talk about today is Namine. With the end of Remind and the Limit Cut episode, we get to find out what everyone's up to while they're trying to find Sora. The Birth by Sleep trio is going back to the realm of darkness, and Riku and Kairi are going to do whatever it is in Melody of Memory, most likely having their dreams studied by Fairy Godmother and the Radiant Garden crew. But Roxas and Xion are having their memories studied, and of course, who better to study their memories than Namine? But what I want to talk about is Namine's role going forward and how she could start to play a bigger role in the series. And if you want to see more quality Kingdom Hearts videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel, support your boy, and turn on that notification bell. Namine throughout the series has always been a character that's kind of a mystery. She showed up in Chain of Memories kind of out of nowhere, seeming all sweet and innocent, but also holding the power to control memories, specifically that of Sora. And while that was admittedly early in the series, being the second game, it was still a bit strange at that point. But after her introduction in Kingdom Hearts 2, recoded with Data Namine, and of course Kingdom Hearts 3, she really only became a support role, and not even that. She never really got back to the level of importance that she achieved in Chain of Memories, or even in Kingdom Hearts 2. I can see why, because Chain of Memories was essentially her game, but after Kingdom Hearts 2, she really just kind of dropped off to being a messenger and making a few appearances now and then. And of course that's because of her going back into Kairi's heart in Kingdom Hearts 2. But what bothers me is the fact that after that, no one really talked about Namine. After Roxas got introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2, he had his own fan base, and then he had his own game in 358 over 2 days. And then when Xion and Axel came into the mix with the Seesaw trio, they became popular with the community as well, but Namine really didn't get that much attention. Even as the fan base started gaining on Kairi for being the damsel in distress, Namine got even less than that because no one really expected anything from her. Even on the box art for Kingdom Hearts 3 too, you see everyone in their groups but Namine by herself. Sora, Kairi, and Riku are in the Destiny Trio group, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are sort of in their Disney Trio, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus are in the Wayfinder Trio, and Xion, Axel, and Roxas are in their Seesaw Trio. But sadly, Namine is all by herself, sort of shoved in the corner. I love how she low-key acknowledged in Kingdom Hearts 3 when she said no one cares about her and they only care about Roxas. But of course, after the events of the base Kingdom Hearts 3, she is no longer a part of Kairi, partly in thanks to Sora as we found out after Remind. It was honestly nice to see her and Xion hanging out at the beach for a second because that was a connection I never knew that I really needed. But now, Namine has a body and seems to be completely separated from Kairi. And that means she could be getting more screen time, and I for one am here for it because Namine has not had a spotlight since Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. But that could change here pretty soon. Honestly, Namine has the potential to be one of the more interesting characters in this series and could play an interesting and important role when it comes to finding Sora. So, I don't know about you guys, but Chain of Memories and to some extent Kingdom Hearts 3 really showed us how powerful Namine could potentially be. When we got that scene of Namine knocking Replica Riku unconscious when he was about to give Sora a good old clapping, it really showed off just how powerful Namine really is.
You are through!
I said stop!
The fact that she can knock out someone like Replica Riku just by shattering his memory shows that Namine is a lot stronger than we give her credit for. And then there's of course the fact that throughout the game she rewrote Sora's memories of Kairi, making Sora almost completely forget about her. And in Kingdom Hearts 3 she of course helped Lingering Will return and help out the Guardians of Light in the Keyblade Graveyard. But going through Chain of Memories, we actually get to see some nice character progression. Honestly, Chain of Memories was one of the darker Kingdom Hearts games because of how it treated its characters and how it was one of the first instances of death we've seen in the series. But Namine starts off really timid and submissive when it comes to Marluxia and the rest of the organization members. But throughout the game, she realized that what she was doing was wrong and tried her best to atone for what she did, even to go so far as to stand up to Marluxia of all people when she refused to erase Sora's memories. And that's interesting in itself because Namine is a nobody, which means she shouldn't have any emotions to show. But at that point, we didn't know that Nomura was going to retcon everything. I mean, we didn't know that nobodies could grow hearts. And at that point, it would have been really interesting to have the game attribute Namine having emotions to being a quote, special nobody. It was kind of a missed opportunity in my opinion, but I digress. In any case, I always thought it was interesting how even in the concept of nobodies, she was the one who had the power to control memories, which is a unique ability even in the Kingdom Hearts universe. It's honestly kind of broken if you think about it. Like everyone's over here using Keyblades and Namine could actually just work some mind magic and incapacitate them pretty easily. Well, provided they have a connection to Sora. But let's be honest, at this point everyone has a connection to Sora. Come on. And I feel like that would be a useful ability to have for multiple reasons. I see some talks about how Namine having a Keyblade would be cool, and while that would be cool, you know, to have a shot of Roxas, Sora, Namine, and Kairi in that sort of nobody and their somebody fighting together, I don't think Namine really needs a Keyblade. She's plenty strong on her own as it is, and giving her a Keyblade would only just make her more broken.
The one who wants to run!
But that's why I want to focus on Namine. While Fairy Godmother said there are 3 keys that could be helpful to finding Sora, those 3 likely being Kairi, Riku, and most likely Azora, I have a theory that there's another way for Namine to use her powers and potentially become more important to the story. So, in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, when Sora was looking for the last 2 pieces of Kairi's heart, he said something really interesting. He said that hearts are all connected and we can trace those connections. Now, from what we know about hearts in the Kingdom Hearts universe, they are strongly connected to memories. They're essentially a key part to the heart's existence, which is why when they're entirely lost, the person who lost them faces serious consequences. And we see this in Birth by Sleep, for example, when Ventus is questioned by Terra and ends up collapsing and passing out. God, Terra, can't you do anything right? The reason I brought up her sort of mini character arc and chain of memories is because the organization had her use her powers to take over Sora and control him and the Keyblade. But I think that while this is essentially her power, the organization was misusing it. Since hearts are all connected and you can trace those connections to find other hearts, Namine could trace the connections of people's memories to help find Sora. And I think the true way to use her power is actually tracing connections that Sora's made throughout his journey so far and find them, and at some point use those connections to locate Sora, or essentially find someone who's lost. And that's why I hope this comes up in Melody of Memory. I want to see Namine going through Roxas and Shionne's memories and find a connection to Sora. It'd be interesting to see Namine going through other people's stations of awakening, since memories are connected to hearts, and eventually trace that connection all the way back to Sora. It'd be kinda like what Sora was doing in the Remind episode when he was essentially playing hopscotch through people's souls. And the fact that she gained the resolve to atone for what she did in Chain of Memories could be what leads to her using her powers in the right way and sort of gain that motivation to do what needs to be done. We kind of see this in Kingdom Hearts 2 when she's working with Diz or Ansem the Wise, but she was essentially working under his thumb and under his careful watch. But now that she's sort of able to go about it freely and do what she wants to do, we could get a lot of insight on her character and see her grow to her full potential. And with tracing the memories of people close to Sora, she could also find out information about other people or about herself that we could have never known otherwise. And with Namine's powers of being able to trace memories and connections that are related to Sora, she may even be able to find out the name of a certain someone. She might be able to find out the name of that mysterious star that was in the final world and figure out who she is and why she's there. And it might work out because Namine was also a star there herself as well. Or maybe she could also find out who Yozora is and what his story is. Because he is connected to Sora, or he has to be, because he summoned Sora's Station of Awakening in the secret episode. With Namine unhinged, she could essentially be an important step in finding Sora or gathering information that could be vital to rescuing him. While I doubt we'll get a ton of moments with her in Melody of Memory, I would like to see them set up at least something showing that Namine will get sort of a spotlight. Because honestly, in a future game, I think she'd be great as a supporting character that's there to give intel and information.
Looking cool, Sora.
It seems like Kingdom Hearts is finally getting around to developing characters a little bit and giving them more fleshed out stories and emotions. We're seeing Kairi come into her own, and we saw a bit of that in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind when she fought Xehanort alongside Sora. They're even starting to flesh out Saïx a little bit, when he confessed that he was jealous of Axel getting new friends and leaving him behind, in one of the most emotional cutscenes in the game. And the fact that he's back with the Twilight Town crew and a new outfit that low-key got a little drip means that we'll definitely be seeing more of him as well. Honestly, with Sora being gone, the time is right to start fleshing out other characters, and in Namine's case, there is a way the series could give her some narrative importance and give her her own spotlight and development in future games. They really have the opportunity to do justice to a character that's really taken a back seat, and while I don't expect her to be a main character on the level of Sora, Riku, or Kairi, she's been playing the supporting role throughout the series anyway, so she does have a lot going for her to make her a strong supporting character. But those are just my thoughts. If you guys have something different, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel to help your boy out. My name is Moose1, and I will catch y'all next time.